excited. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this for ever since we got the confirmation that Amadou and Mariam were going to be able to join. Every year we kind of do it as the Ovation Agency. Alice and I do a deep dive and try to help artists who are on a journey to receive Grammy recognition. So we run some Grammy awareness campaigns. And when Greg Selsa introduced us to the Sete record, it was a one listen. I was just like, I don't know what they're saying, but it is a beautiful, beautiful song, and I want to be part of it. So here we are, and let's just kind of dive right into it. Sensei, thank you for joining us from Houston. We know that you're originally from Senegal. And when I asked you if you would translate for us, you just went gushing on about Amadou Mariam. If you want to say a few things before we get started, I'd love for you to hear from you.
Yeah, so everybody, I'm Sensei. I'm from Senegal, born and somewhat raised there, and raised mainly in Los Angeles. I just happen to be Amadou Mariam fan since I was younger, in my preteens, when the first song, Je pense à toi, came out. I might be wrong, that might not be the first song, but I remember that's the first song that definitely put them on my map, and all of us were in love with that song. So been a fan since then, and bonjour Amadou et Mariam.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, alors mon nom c'est Sete Djon Ye, je suis originaire du Sénégal, je suis sénégalaise. Je suis née au Sénégal, je grandis là-bas et à Los Angeles aussi. Et je suis fan, hein? Je suis fan de votre musique depuis, je pense, mes 10 ans, 11 ans, quand j'étais toute petite, avec la chanson Je pense à toi. Ouais, j'étais folle amoureuse de cette chanson, en tout cas. Alors, enchantée.
C'est bien.
Et aujourd'hui, je suis très honorée de partager la plateforme avec vous.
Merci.
Well, thank you, Sensei.
Sensei, wait, hold on before.
Yes.
Sensei, can you also
Yes,
tell
sir.
them? Can you also tell them I'm on the radio in Los Angeles on KCRW, because they've come to the studio a few times.
KCRW. OK, alors il y a Jason qui dit qu'il est aussi à la radio à Los Angeles à KCRW, parce que vous êtes venu, they did interviews there?
Yeah, they've done a few.
OK, vous avez fait quelques interviews à cette radio à Los Angeles quelques fois.
Oh, oui, on se rappelle. C'est vrai.
Ouais, they say they remember. Avec Jason.
Well, that's awesome. Well, now that everybody's in the room and we've said our hellos, bon après-midi, I just want to talk about this fantastic record that Francis and Blondish put together. Sete reached #2 on Beatport with 16 whopping weeks at the top 10 on the Beatport overall chart, which is pretty amazing. Because, you know, they have charts for this and chart for that. But if you're in the overall chart, it means that it's hidden across the board. So that was an amazing feat in and of itself. I love this quote from Danny Howard from BBC. The song of the summer, if not the song of the year. I was just like, well, that sounds like something I would say. And of course, Billboard gave it some glowing reviews as well. And there's been coverage about the record in Forbes as well as in Modern Luxury. And it's just a smash hit across the board. And I'm so excited that I was invited to participate in spreading the word on this record amongst the Grammy community. Jason, you know, we're up here, you know, speaking French and talking about different cultures and stuff like that. Your artist, Mariam, hails from Senegal, right?
Yeah, so Mariam, she's an artist from originally from Senegal, but moved to the United States. And yeah.
I was wondering, I said, she's about that age. I wonder if she's named after our Amadou and Mariam.
I don't know. I mean, she's, you know, I'm not going to give her age, but put it this way, she left during the war in Senegal in the 80s, so.
Gotcha.
But she's got a big, huge blue mohawk, and so you know who she is.
Right. It's like she's someone you would never miss. So
you would never miss, yeah.
jump into this and with Francis. So, Francis, you're here creating your own legacy in the present as a DJ with your label, Deep Root Records. It's one of the few 100% Black-owned dance record labels. And you even had a feature in Forbes. Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
That's a really interesting question. You know, I got here based on my love and passion for the music. You know, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've dedicated myself, even throughout my studies, when I was studying at BLOND in Providence, to really dive in and breathe electronic music, just live performances and whatnot. So I've been a DJ, I've been in the nightlife circuit for quite some time. As a producer, it's been 8 to 10 years, and I've kind of went through different styles of music. And throughout the pandemic, I was able to reinvent myself, take some time to go back to my roots and kind of listen to some more African, more Caribbean music. And I was able to discover and rework some huge records such as Premier Gao and Sete, which is like one of the big hits that came out of my time locked in the studio for the COVID year, right? So I was lucky enough to discover the music, to be able to rework it, and to be given the opportunity to release it with the approval of Amadou Mariam and collaborate with Blondish. Yeah, so it's my love and passion for the music that, and perseverance, you know, years after years, to be able to get to where I am today.
Well, perseverance is key. So, like, you're trapped in pandemic mode. What made you go back to your youth to find Sete Djon Ye?
Well, to be honest with you, having time and not having to have the pressure to release music, because, you know, at that point it was like, okay, everything is on standstill. There's no need to like push releases back to back to be relevant and to be on tour. So I was able to say, okay, you know what, let me go back and actually make music that I really believe in. Let me go back and kind of discover what really drives me, what really catches my attention. And I was able to, yeah, rework some African classics. And yeah, we came with Sete, and I showed it to Blondish. She really loved it, and we were able to rework it and put this humongous record together.
Well, welcome, Blondish.
Hi everyone, how's it going? What's up, Team Sete?
So I do have a question here that I was actually having a discussion yesterday. African music. So traditionally, it's been that artists like Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber have been working with a lot of Nigerian artists. And my thought is to try to get Justin and Ed Sheeran to an African market. I think that was the intention. But it seems like it's actually gone the opposite way, where now we have artists from Senegal and Nigeria and South Africa, you know, just from like Adokunle Gold or Rema or what have you, that are now coming to here. And now you're seeing on Beatport that if you look at the genres, Amapiano is now an actual style that's now focused into dance culture. And before it never was. It was just, they just listed it as Afrobeat. So do you see that music out of Africa that has been indigenous in spots is now actually kind of coming forth? And it's funny because you always look at the next style actually comes from EDM and dance music.
Absolutely. I think the Amapiano style is making a big surge, especially today. Diplo released under Major Lazer, a big record with Major League DJs, which is a humongous style of music in South Africa. And I think, you know, the EDM, the house music, the tech house, it incorporates so many different genres. And I think it's very easy to kind of present different cultures within that music format. You know, you can go with South American, you can go with more Latin, with more African, you can really incorporate different things. And it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have, can I interject?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I have a big opinion on EDM. I think that, EDM is now, it's dead, right? And that's why you have all these different cross genres happening and everyone's starting to cross pollinate again. So to answer two questions, I feel like EDM, people latch on to EDM and connect it to whatever they can to make something potentially trendy. But in terms of the Amapiano, I mean, like if you use Wes or Diplo again as an example, he just loves culture. He loves learning about it, learning about the history, just getting so involved in it. And that's how he can actually experience the culture. And he just loves to, you know, go across many different genres. So he actually was the first one who kind of talked to me about Nigerian kind of music, and just, you know, I could learn so much from him because he just becomes obsessed with it. And that obsession also kind of propagated over to the US through his experience of making that music.
Now the question is, will it stick in the US? I think that's a big question.
Will it stick? I mean, everything's constantly evolving, and we're in this period again where EDM, again, this is my opinion, but where EDM is dead and everyone is cross-pollinating now. So you're going to see the emergence of so many new genres, infinite amounts of them, that genre, it'll be hard to even define genres on Beatport soon.
I 100% agree with you. I'm seeing it happen in other, you know, genres, if you would. And I think part of that is just because we've kind of democratized the music industry, access to all different kinds of music through the streaming services, and people are just listening to whatever catches their ear. And so now the genres are less, quote unquote, discrete. So, I mean, that brings us to our next question, Viv. How, you know, when Francis brought this record to you, you know, what was your first reaction? What made you say, yo, I want to be down with this?
This is great because both of your questions kind of lead into each other. The genre question, I actually, when people speak about genres, I never know really how, I'm not like Diplo where I get obsessed with a certain genre and a certain culture. I just, like, as I'm traveling in the present, when I'm in the present moment, whatever is there, whether it's a door creaking at a hotel or it's a person or a musician I meet, I get inspired by that. So I get inspired by the present moment. So what was your question again? Because I was going somewhere. What was my feeling of Sete? I'm
right,
so present, I don't remember your question from a minute ago. So I, you know, the lyrics being from, like, they're from Senegal. I had no idea, obviously, what the lyrics meant. But I had a feeling. I got an emotion from the lyrics right away. So that's what was my attachment to it. And I didn't know the story of Sete and Amadou and Mariam at that moment, but I had that feeling. And that's how I approach my music, is through feeling and emotion and intuition. So I that's why I just got really curious when I heard those vocals. So that's how
I had the exact same response. I was like, I don't know what they're saying, but there's something is touching me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it happens so much. Like, how do I explain it? I was at Burning Man and I ran into someone on the playa, and she's also from, you know, she's from Senegal. And she was just so touched that we put that record out and made a dance floor version of it because, you know, electronic music, it is so prominent around the world right now. It's having its moment. So she was like, I'm just so happy that you guys put attention to it, and it really touches me. And we just had this like crazy moment hugging on the playa. It was beautiful. So this, you know, music does bring people together, and Amadou and Mariam, like, they have no idea their power in this world.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Who was
so you're traveling right now? Where are you right now? Where are you calling in from?
I just got to Geneva. I'm on a crazy tour, but it's almost done. Summer's almost done, and I'm happy to make music again.
Okay.
Who did you meet? Which artist was it that you met you said from Senegal?
She wasn't an artist. She's from there, and she loves electronic music. She was, you know, just a burner on the playa.
Got it.
And, you know, like, no one knows the story of Sete, and we got, like, that is the secret sauce of this song. It's like just the fact that what the lyrics mean, you know. I don't know if you guys got into that.
We were just about to, actually. So get ready, Sensei, because we're about to dive deep with Amadou and Mariam. And Viv, we know that you are traveling. You can stay on as long as you like. You absolutely have touched on what I wanted to hear from you, just how the music made you feel. And congratulations. We just, right before you got on, we ran through like all the stats and how big the record is around the world. And congratulations, we're so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. There's always a little tiny delay.
No, this is a conversation. It's all good.
I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful that Francis brought it to me. I'm grateful for every step of the way. I'm grateful for Amadou and Mariam existing, that they have that power to communicate it through their voice and transmit that feeling, because that is something that can touch every single person in this world. It goes through the limbic system. You know, it's not forced, it's authentic. And
yes.
that is what the world, I'm not going to tell what the world needs right now. We need a lot of things, but that's one little thing.
Yes.
Hey, Sensei, would you translate what she just said for Amadou and Mariam, please?
Yes, alors Amadou Mariam, c'était pour vous féliciter pour votre musique, votre inspiration, parce que, bon, pas pour dire que c'est ça dont le monde a besoin en ce moment, mais toute cette positivité, ça inspire les gens vraiment dans ce monde. Alors, félicitations.
So we're about to dive in with Amadou and Mariam, and I guess the first question is, what was your first reaction when you heard this new version of Sete?
Quelle a été votre première réaction lorsque vous avez entendu cette interprétation de Sete? Parce qu'elle est si différente de l'original en termes d'énergie et de tonalité musicale.
Oui, on était très bien contents. On était aussi très bien soulagés parce que voir que le morceau a pris cette forme. Et cette forme-là nous plaît beaucoup parce que ça permet de véhiculer le morceau un peu partout. Bon, le morceau déjà, son origine, originalement, il était bien, mais avec cette coloration, ça amène vers d'autres dimensions.
Yes, so they were very happy. I'm sorry. Okay, they were very happy about the way, because basically the original song, it already had a very great impact. So this remix, let's say, or this refund was able to bring them to a whole different dimension. So they were very excited and surprised and happy about it.
So the next question is, it's a real recasting of your vocal work from way back in 1999. Did you feel that this new version honored the meaning of the song?
Bon, akira sababu ye ka fiento botila be fiento jate mo metanu bioni ekola donc a marcher ataranya fako sebe ekol taranya fako sebe fiento ye kalanke fiento ye bara.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. There you have it.
There you have it, huh?
Right. Beautiful.
So in doing my research, as I understand it, you guys met when you were kids, and you both lost your sight. Mariam, when you were much younger than Amadou, but you know, what was the thing that brought you guys together? You know, how did you discover that you even liked each other? And how long have you guys been married?
Alors, comment êtes-vous rencontrés? D'après l'histoire, vous vous connaissiez depuis que vous étiez petit, et ça fait combien de temps vous êtes mariés?
Nous sommes rencontrés à l'Institut des jeunes aveugles du Mali.
À l'Institut?
À l'Institut des jeunes aveugles du Mali. L'école des aveugles.
Dans les années 76.
Ok.
Voilà.
On
est mariés en 1980.
Ok.
Ok.
Voilà.
Wow.
Ouais, ils se sont mariés. They got married in 1980, but they actually met in 1975 at the Institute of the Blind People.
Yeah, in Mali.
Wow.
In Mali.
Wow. And making music all this time.
It's been 40 years, a 40-year marriage, huh?
That's incredible. So you guys have been nominated 3 times for Grammy Awards. back in 2006, how did it feel when you were nominated for the very first time?
Alors, en 2006, bon, vous avez été nominé 3 fois déjà pour les Grammys Awards. Et en 2006, qu'avez-vous ressenti lorsque vous avez été nominé pour la première fois?
Pour la première fois qu'on était nominé, on était très, très, très contents. Nomination, déjà, ça fait quelque chose. Vraiment, ça nous a fait plaisir. On n'a pas eu le grand miroir award, mais on était vraiment joyeux. Quand même, on était nominé, ça nous a fait plaisir. Ça nous faisait plaisir.
Okay. Well, they said they were very, very happy. I think, Francis, you can help me with the last part. It did cut off. I have a problem hearing
they said they were very happy. They were very proud. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but you know, it means so much to them for them to be given the opportunity and for their music to be recognized globally.
So part of recognized globally is when people are touched by the music. And I just kind of want to revisit this idea of the themes of the music and the themes of this particular song. We do have kind of an English translation. I don't know if it's, you know, word for word, but I'm going to share this with everybody because here in the United States, at least today, it's much different than it was, let's say, 50 years ago when people with disabilities weren't afforded the same kind of opportunities. There was a spiritual kind of aspect to Amadou Mariam being at the Institute for the Blind. So here are the lyrics as translated into English. It says, "There is no God except for Allah. There is no power but for the power of the Lord. When I think of the times when I was hidden to prevent people from seeing me, when I think we said I shouldn't see them because of shame, although I didn't buy the disease, there is no God except for Allah. When I think of the times when I was hidden in the house so people couldn't see me, when I think of it all, power does not belong to man, it belongs to our Lord." That is just so powerful to me.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, thank you.
Big time. Never stop.
I just so deep and so proud. So Francis, when you were a little kid and you heard these lyrics, what did they mean to you then?
I had no clue because I don't speak the language, but later over the years, after producing the song, working with Blondish, and I met with Amadou Mariam and got the meaning and actually did some more research. It's just so incredible. It's such a powerful message. And it's something I cannot even explain. For me, I'm so humbled to be a part of this project, to be able to represent such a strong message, you know, and yeah, here we are today, and it's such a blessing.
It really, really and truly is. Since we have you on the line here, you and Deep Root Records have been tremendously successful. I looked at your Spotify page, and it's like you have 750,000 monthly listeners right now.
Thank you.
And while this track was introduced by Insomniac, what would a Grammy-winning song do for you and for Deep Root Records? What do you feel that would, you know, how would it change your life? Would it mean anything to, you know, your mission as Deep Root?
Absolutely. For me, the most important meaning is to be able to have the music that we're producing, the Afro house we're trying to put together, the composition and the dream of a Haitian person, you know, moving to the US, producing music, launching myself in this competitive field, to be able to be recognized, to be able to be given recognition is just means the world to me, because there's so many young artists from my country, from Africa, from all over the world who are just starting out. And just yesterday, I can say I had, you know, nowhere near the kind of numbers I'm having today in terms of streaming, nowhere near the number of shows that I'm having today. And it's really humbling to be able to live this experience and to go from close to nothing to now touring the world and being able to travel to so many places and to play my music and to be recognized globally. So it's just, for me, it would open doors. It would give everyone that's struggling a view that it's actually possible. You know, you just have to work really hard.
Well, I'm proud of all of you guys for being in this international space. I know that you speak a trillion languages, like 5, I believe. Is it like 5 languages?
Correct.
How
Yes.
about you, Viv? How many languages do you speak?
I speak none very well. I have an Israeli girlfriend or fiance. I used to have an Argentinian boyfriend. I used to live in Mexico. You know, I lived in Italy. I lived in London. So, you know, now that I'm learning Hebrew, I've lost my Spanish, my French. I went to school in Montreal. I went to university there. So I speak none very well.
Not very well.
Well, that's none very well more than us.
Okay. We're
But guys,
so
wait,
obnoxious.
before we go to the next question, Francis, I know you want recognition, but you have a purpose with your music, and we can't do that in the underground. You know what I mean? So, you know, winning that Grammy, I'm sure that we overlap on some, you know, opinions that it would help us get to our goals. You know, like my goals with everything I do with my music is to get to happy world, you know, and that's a place of freedom, abundance, and happiness for all humans. And Sete definitely kind of goes into that, and helps kind of fuel that momentum there.
Your perspective is so global. I love the work that you're doing with Bye Bye Plastic. That's a awesome initiative, and it's something that we can be actionable with right now.
Yeah, that's exactly why I started the project. And honestly, like, there's an amazing team of women that run that. It's, you know, I'm touring, so they handle it. You know, I help as much as I can, but I got to give them credit. But basically, you know, just being in the scene and seeing everyone talk, you know, we're on the dance floor. Everyone loves to talk. Like, let's do this, let's do that, you know, because we're so inspired by the music, and maybe someone had a few drinks or whatever. But then there was no action. So that the Bye Bye Plastic project is really to turn all this talk into action, tangible steps, you know, break it down. It's simple.
Yeah, I have
terms.
to congratulate you. I have to congratulate you for that, Viv. It's what you guys have accomplished with the movement is really meaningful.
Thanks.
I think it's awesome.
But we're doing it, and it also, you know, we want to create a new system. I'm not happy in the old system we all live in. It's broken, and the new, you know, Web3. I'm really into crypto, so Web3 is actually helping us propel Bye Bye Plastic and creating fuel momentum for the music industry, because the music industry is such an old system.
Model.
I love it, of course, but it's an old model and needs updating. But it's, you know, a lot of red tape, no's, and big conglomerates that kind of, you know, run the show. But in Web3, it's so fresh. So Bye Bye Plastic's now like making Web3, you know, plastic free. And that creates momentum, because at the end of the day, Web3 kind of, it's all a bunch of festivals now. It's just culture. One second.
And bringing it back to culture, Sensei, we have one last question for Amadou Mariam. The last question we just asked Viv, and that was, you know, they live in Paris now. They're from Mali. They're known all across Africa and around the world. How many languages do they speak?
Alors, Amadou Mariam, vous parlez combien de langages en ce moment, en 2022? Vu que vous avez voyagé partout dans le monde et vous habitez en France en ce moment.
Nous parlons beaucoup de langues, mais les langues qu'on maîtrise, c'est le Bambara, après le français, après on parle un peu d'anglais,
Oui.
un peu d'espagnol, le fait de voyager partout. Oui, un peu portugais aussi. Donc, c'est ça. Donc, les salutations, on les connaît dans beaucoup de langues. Mais sinon, nous parlons bambara et français. Voilà, et nous comprenons l'anglais beaucoup. Après le français, on comprend. On ne peut pas tenir une interview en anglais, mais déjà ce que les gens disent, nous comprenons.
Oh, wow, c'est impressionnant, hein? C'est très impressionnant. So their first language, of course, is Bambara, which they are fluent in. The second language is French. And they understand somewhat English. Let's say that, you know, it will be their third language. And they are onto Spanish and Portuguese.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. But that's really what this is all about. And you know, I speak broken French, broken Spanish, English, and Ebonics.
Very cool.
Hey, that's four.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. This was so great. Thank you, Viv, for joining us from Geneva. Amadou Mariam coming from Paris. Francis, I didn't catch where you were located today.
I'm in Cairo, Egypt.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
That's Blondish's favorite country. You know, she has an obsession with the mangoes over here, huh?
No, because I started posting about mangoes. I love mangoes, and now I play there 4 times a year.
That's brilliant. And of course, we have Jason in LA and me in Miami. So the power of the internet, the power of Zoom brings the global community together. This couldn't be more fitting to have us all over the globe and having this conversation. I really want to thank you so much.
Concludes this edition of Impact Music, Media, and Culture. Thanks to Viv, thanks to Francis, Amadou Mariam, and Thornell, myself, Jason Kramer. That's about it. Thank you so much, and we will definitely see you on the flip side.
Thank you so much,
you, Jason.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Good luck at your show.
Thank you. See you next time.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you, guys.
Merci, Jerry Dave.